Grrr. And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Mind of James. Happy Halloween. I got this cool mask at Blink Cincinnati. And I've been deciding what to do with it. I will be taking it off here shortly, but I wanted to show you how cool it was. It blinks different colors off and straight right on. And everything is lit up behind me. It is lit up as, and the real mask is on. The scary one, at least. Everything is lit up as it would be on stream. I promised you a night episode, and I deliver. So this is Halloween episode. There's apparently a phone call coming in. I don't know who it is, but we're just going to decline her. So, welcome to the Halloween episode of the Mind of James podcast. I'm on first shift this week. So I'm doing some new training in a new area, so that's why I'm bringing you a night episode. Once again, we're drinking some Yuengling traditional lager. Always a good choice. I got a couple cans up here, so you will hear cans crack. Also, once again, and as usual, we are chiefing on Raz. Yet again, watermelon ice. So let's just keep it simple, nice and easy. Let's get into the episode. This week is just, what's your plan? What the plan is? The plan is to do the podcast, to do the streaming, until we get big. No matter what location we're in, we're just going to keep doing it. And I think that is a good choice. All week I've been hearing, it's just been in my head. Find your North Star. Find your North Star. Whatever your North Star is. Building cabinets, blah, 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 blah. Whatever your North Star is. Just find it and follow it. I am 36 years old. And I still have... Well, I think I found the area where my North Star is. I just haven't found it yet. But I think I'm in the right part of the sky, as they say. There's a couple constellations around it that I'm just following, but I haven't found my North Star. And watch out, everybody, when I find it, because I will not care about relationships. I will not care about going out. The only thing I will care about is following that North Star and being very important on not getting distracted. And it's just one of those things where it's hard to find, man. finding your North Star, by North Star I mean passion. Finding your passion. Because there's a million things you can do in this life. Like, for example, me, I'm a welder by trade. I could have went the CWI route. I could have been a pipe welder. I could have been a field welder. I could have been an underwater welder. But I landed at shop welding. So, you start building cabinets. You could, at the end of it, be building coffins. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to need one. Everybody's going to need a coffin, man. So until you get that carpenter building your coffin, try and find that North Star, baby. Cracking a can here. I'm going to try and keep it. You know what? We're not perfect here at the Mind of James. So, yeah, you just got to find it, bro. And sis. Now, it's okay to change everything in your life to find that North Star. It's okay to rearrange things in your life, cut things out in your life that no longer serve you or help you grow, to find your North Star, to really listen as to what you want in life and as to what you think life is trying to tell you or trying to show you. I'll tell you a real estate story. When I lived in Colorado, I started stand-up comedy. I took a stand-up comedy class, currently enrolled in a improv class, and I love stand-up comedy so much. There's no medicine better than a good laugh, than a real good laugh. And last night, I went to Keep It Open, Cincinnati, down at the tap room on Ludlow Avenue here in Cincinnati, and I laughed. For the first time in a couple weeks, I felt like I had a really good laugh. And it just made me fall in love with stand-up all over again. It just made me fall in love with that. Now, I suck as a stand-up comedian. Suck at it. And with me being on third shift and comedy being a night game, it makes it hard to do comedy. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. Most of your stand-up comedy gets kicking off at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm already at work. I'm clocked in at 9. But I was listening to the podcast called The Check-In with Joey Diaz and Lee Syatt. And man, they brought up Denver, Colorado again. And I'm just like, Lord, get me back there. I'll put everything else aside and do what you want me to do, and that's stand-up comedy. I'll do it. I just get me in the position to get back to Denver, Colorado, and it is balls to the wall. Like right now, it's a standstill with stand-up. Standstill. Like I went out and enjoyed a show last night because I'm on first shift. But I might be going back to thirds next week. So I can't, can't hang out. And it sucks. But I was listening to them talk about Denver and the comedy works and all the little open mics you can do and all the clubs you can do, and it's just like, man, I did my first stand-up set at Rise Comedy in Denver, Colorado. And I was hooked ever since. It's like every day that I don't do it, it is just gnawing at the back of my mind. Like, when are you going to start doing this shit? When are you going to start doing stand-up comedy? And the answer is, sorry folks, we had a little technical difficulty. My camera stopped, but the where we left off was, when are you going to start doing stand-up comedy again? And the answer is, I don't know right now. I don't know when I'm going to be able to take it seriously, because right now I don't take it seriously. I don't put the I'm writing. I write down ideas, and I try and form little bits, but I'm not putting 100% into it like I can. You're going to see me check the computer screen here, because I don't want this to keep happening. I don't know what happened, but it was a fluke. But I'm not taking it seriously like I should. And that's the sad part, man. That is the absolute sad part of me going, I love stand-up. I love it so much, but I'm not putting the effort into it. You know what I mean? And I can admit that to myself, that I'm not putting the effort in like I should, because of what's going on right now. I'm just trying to get me back afloat. I'm just trying to stay afloat, and I'm just trying to make sure that, when I put everything into it, that's it. That is it. That's all I got. That's all I got. That is all. I do not want anything to fall back on. I do not want anything to say, oh, I can just go back and do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, because I love stand-up so much that I want to treat it respectfully. You know what I mean? There are these great comics: George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, Joey Diaz, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Richard Pryor, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams. All these great comics put their respectful dues where they should, doing stand-up, and that's it. And I'm not doing that. I'm going, well, maybe I can do it here and there. Nah. Let's get real. Let's get absolutely real. So right now what we're doing is that I'm putting a lot of focus into, with how my schedule is going, I'm putting my focus into this podcast. If you'll notice that I put these little bubbles right here that say all of my information. I just learned how to do that in editing. I taught myself how to edit. I didn't know anything about it. With some YouTube and just figuring it out, I just taught myself how to edit. You know what I mean? So we're doing this. We're doing streaming, which is www.twitch.com/onthelevel162. Come check me out every Friday at 8:30 p.m. And I'm going to be doing a little random stream tonight. But we're being recorded on, what is today? Today's October 31st. It's a Thursday, I think. So this is coming out Monday. Yeah. Anyway. But I'm putting my creativity into this until I can get back to stand-up. That is honest to God what I'm doing. I'm doing something enough to be creative, to be like, okay, I can get my creative outlet here. As of right now, I can get it out here. You know what I mean? So, and I watched last night I watched a great comic, Psy. Man, he is so funny. He is so funny. And there was a meeting down at the Commonwealth Sanctuary in Dayton, Kentucky. And he made a very good point. He's like, if you're going to do this, do it with all due respect. Put the work into it. And they're starting a great program down there. Like, they're passing comedians. Which means, like, how the Comedy Store's doing it. You know what I mean? How other clubs are doing it. And which is awesome for, like, local talent. Which is awesome, because the the Cincinnati comedy scene is pretty good. You know, you got Go Bananas, Commonwealth Sanctuary, tons of open mics. The Joke Gym down at Commonwealth Sanctuary, Feedback Mic at Go Bananas. It's just I fucking work night shift. So, you know, continue to write, continue to do the podcast, continue to stream until we get it all done. Until we get it all done to where I can say, this is where I'm putting my energy into. You know, this is where it's going. This is absolutely where it's going to go, ladies and gentlemen. And Cody Walker, shouts out to you. What you're doing down at Keep It Open Cincinnati, down at the tap room on Ludlow Avenue, has been awesome for stand-up comedy, and thank you for that. You've let me on stage, even though I suck. But you know, we'll get better. I'll get better. But you do a lot for comedy, and thank you for that. But finding your North Star, we'll get back. We'll circle around back to that. Finding your North Star, man. And don't let anybody tell you different. If you think your North Star is playing the guitar, and you're 42 and you've always wanted to play it, do it. Who cares? Who cares? Who gives a shit? The only person that needs to give a shit is you. You know what I mean? So, if anybody else doesn't like it, they could fucking eat bricks. But I think it is like, man, I know some people that you could just look at them and be like, I am not happy. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I'm not doing what I think I should be doing. I'm just living day in and day out. And it's just, man, I do not want to be like that. That is flat out it. I do not want to be like that. And that's okay. You may have to take a little time off. Like I got that comedy itch in Denver, and it's been gnawing at me ever since, ladies and gentlemen. And it's the gnawing is getting worse and worse. And it's just like, what are you gonna do about it? Well, we gotta get on stage. That's what I gotta do about it. And my time will come. It may not be now. You know, I had a lot of depressing time in Denver. Not to say Denver was depressing. It was all me. It was all what I got myself into. And now I'm just clawing my way back out of that 6 feet hole I dug. So we'll get back to the surface. We'll get back to the surface, and I'm completely okay with that. I'm completely okay with knowing that I am digging myself out of this hole, or I'm climbing out of this 6 foot hole right now. And once I get back to the surface, I'm running. I'm straight running. It's not gonna matter who's in my way or what is in my way. I'm straight running. And I also like, I am the captain of this podcast. I think of this podcast as a ship, and it's a one-man ship right now. So I got to be in front of the camera. I got to edit it. I got to produce it. And what I really like in podcasting is being behind the camera, editing, producing, setting up podcasts, and all that kind of stuff. That is what I like to do in podcasts. But for right now, I gotta be I gotta be the main man on this here ship. So, and I'm okay with that. If I have to do it, I will. And that's just the name of the game. So, if you like, let's say, okay, cabinets. You build cabinets and want to start your own company. You got to be the captain of that ship. You got to learn the finance side. You got to learn every aspect to it. Every aspect. And there is an LLC behind this. There is on the level productions. I keep saying on the level 162 so much, but it is on the level productions is the company behind this podcast. So that company owns the podcast. Guess who's the owner, operator, president, CEO, finance guy of that production company? Me. But it's a separate entity from what I am. So that company owns this podcast. That company owns the streaming, and the comedy career. You know what I mean? I just have to put in the work to make that company money. Do I understand the finance side of it right now? No. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not. Maybe I can write off buying a computer part or buying a screen or putting the cell phone contract under it. I don't know any of that stuff yet. But I will. And we will. We'll get there. But right now we just gotta build the ship as we go. And I am cool with it. There will be people that come into my life that know this kind of stuff and they can guide me along the way. So there it is. And it's okay if you don't know it right up front. I heard this great quote that said, if you're going to start something new, be okay with being dumb. Be okay with being dumb about it. Be okay with not knowing everything about it. Not knowing whatever you need to know. For example, cabinets. We'll keep just coming back because, I don't know, cabinets are cool. I like cabinets. Be okay with not knowing how to start the LLC. I mean, there's companies out there that will just put an LLC right behind a company name, and there you go. It's your job to figure the rest out. Maybe I'll do an episode on LLCs once I learn some more. But right now, I'm pretty content with where I'm going in this podcast, what I'm doing on the streaming, and we'll get to the comedy when we can get to it. But it's gnawing. It's there gnawing. Trust me, it's there gnawing. And there's gonna be a point. Sorry with the scratching. These mics are good. This is the HyperX Quadcast, very good mic. There's gonna be a point to where I say, folks, I got to put the podcast down for a little bit because I am focusing on my comedy career. And let's just say it goes back to audio only and not video. So there might be that, and as long as my audience sticks with me, I'm cool. But we're slowly digging ourselves out of. I'm slowly digging myself out of this hole, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, man. And man, and then once I get out of that tunnel, there's gonna be another tunnel, but it's gonna be the tunnel I want, or what I think. The Lord Almighty. Because I was going to be a pirate I was a pirate for Halloween. So I listen to a lot of pirate songs, and I love pirate culture. I have a tattoo right here. It's skull and crossbones. It says pirate slaves. So, talk like a pirate, you know. Um, so, we're going to get to, I just got to dig myself out of this hole, and we'll get to what the Lord Almighty wants us to do. So, it's one of those things, man. What'd be great, what I would like to have is another co-host for this, podcast, just to give some more context to something. I don't have it's hard, it's not hard, it's just difficult to sit here and talk for, if you want to make an hour podcast, it's hard to sit here and talk to a camera for an hour. When I had Stoned Out, that podcast, that I would talk for a half hour and then cruise through the internet and see what's going on there. So, maybe we might get back to that. I don't know. I didn't. It was okay. It was fun. It was interesting, but it was just context, just content. I feel like this is more my speed because I'm actually telling you what I want to tell you and what's meaningful in the end. So, it's one of those things where we just gotta grip it and rip it, baby. Grip it and rip it. What else is going on? Tony Hinchcliffe did a set at the at a rally, and he's been getting a lot of shit. And the thing about comedy, man, it's just jokes. It's just words. If you let words offend you, you're gonna lose quick. You're not even gonna make it out of the starting gate. So, God bless him. Hey, they were jokes. So, I got nothing bad to say about Tony Hinchcliffe. And he's got a great podcast, Kill Tony. One of the biggest in the world. And, I hope to make a spot on that one day. So, what else is going on right off the top of the dome here? I don't, man, it's just one of those things where it's just like, you just gotta find your North Star, And I love it when people find it and pursue it and make sure that they have just found that thing in life that just is like, you know what, I can't wait to get off work to go do this. I can't wait to, I don't want to do anything else but this. That's it. That's all. I love it when people do that. I cut my finger at work, but I love it when they do that, man. I love it when people just like, I found my thing, dude. I'm like, congratulations, because that's a big step. That's a very, very, very big step. Is finding another beer crack. Because I didn't have beers open already. And I had a big peanut butter and jelly sandwich before this. But don't worry, we hit the gym. This is my treat. Tasty beer. But it's one of those things where you just gotta find it. And I have a really, really hard time telling people. You know, you can just look at someone and they absolutely enjoy gardening, or they absolutely in love, or they absolutely enjoy reading. And you know, you mentioned to them, you know, you love reading so much. Why don't you write a book? Just sit down and write a book. They go, nah, I can never write a book. Like, why can't you? Why can't you write a book? You know, or why can't you start your own garden shop? You know, why don't you take some of these flowers that you've cultivated and take it to a gardening show and see what happens? You know? But with all these things that that you do and what you have to do, it's for the love of the game. It's for the love of the game. It's not it's for you. It's for the game. You know, even if you sit at one of these gardening shows with these beautiful flowers that you cultivated and no one buys a single flower, you still did it. And don't let that scare you, and don't let that depress you, because it's a long run game. It's a long run game. No short term, no short game. You know, we're hitting drivers with this. You know, as soon as you tee up and hit that golf ball, meaning that you get that spot at the flower convention or you start writing that book, you got to wait for that ball to hit the ground after you hit it. And you'll know when that ball hits the ground, you'll be like, okay, that ball hit the ground. You know what I mean? But I want you guys to take, what I want you to take from this episode is, don't be afraid to tee up and hit the golf ball, hit that metaphorical golf ball. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to do it. You can catch me on stream, www.twitch.com/on-the-level162. Go check out the Instagrams, at on-the-level162 for gaming. For the podcast, it is at Mind of James. You can also email me at mindofjpapodcast@gmail.com. I love all of you. Email me, tell me your stories, tell me your things, and I will see you on the next one.